is our cozy lounge episode now.
I feel like doing the news on a 70s pool party.
Yeah, who showed up for the pool party?
Who showed up for the pool party? Only the politicians.
Speaking of politicians, welcome
to
the House of Chaos.
I'm Izzy Renton.
I'm Rebecca Mary Gwendolyn.
And it's very nice to be here
very
with
nice
you
to be
today.
here.
This is your emotional support politics podcast.
Yeah, all the way from
Aotearoa, New Zealand.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, and it's a very exciting time to be talking about New Zealand politics because it's an election year.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. We've had a few weeks off. We're in our growth spurt.
We are.
Stage.
Yeah, and sometimes we're in two different countries.
Yeah.
And the time difference is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
And sometimes people are not well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we record a whole episode
Yep.
with no audio.
With no audio.
These are just things that we're just working through as a
Exactly.
team.
So we're here on maybe our fourth recording in a while that hasn't quite we've had about 3 that haven't quite worked out.
Yeah, but this one's gonna be great.
This one's going to be great. It's going up. It's coming out to you guys. And thank you so much for your patience in the meantime. Yeah. And if you were here for the great pause of 2026, you were here right from the beginning.
You were here right from the beginning. One of the real ones.
One of the real ones, yeah. You'll be like, hey, I remember when those guys couldn't even get their recording equipment set up properly.
I remember when they got 10 minutes of audio on Izzy's mic, 0 minutes of audio on Rebecca's mic, and then just nothing for the rest of the hour.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, have you been in the last 24 hours since we last recorded this podcast?
Well, great, because within that 24 hours, I saw you again for an improv show.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. That's the life.
Yeah, that is the life. Yeah. How have you been?
I've been really good because I saw you for an improv show. It must be the last time we recorded this.
Yeah. And I feel like we're getting our second shot about talking about the topics today.
We are, which is fun.
Which is fun, and not something you usually get as improvisers.
No.
Ooh.
Or in the world of news.
Or in the world of news. Usually it's like it happens, you talk about it, and then you move on.
It's over.
It's over, it's done.
Yeah.
I must say, doing this podcast has made me realize how hard reporting the news is.
It's so hard.
It's really hard.
So much stuff happens all the time.
All the time.
Constantly.
And then there are so many details and nuances, and so many times when we record this podcast, I come away afterwards and I'm like, oh my God, I got this thing wrong.
Yeah.
Or I didn't say that in exactly the right way.
Yeah.
And so for the people who are out there on the news, just reporting things as they come in, I'm like, do you know what? We sort of had a bitch about you at the beginning of this this series, but hey, now we're institutionalized and we get how hard it is.
Yeah. Especially the politicians are never hey guys, we've all decided we're just going to be sort of normal this week.
Yeah.
We're all just going to turn up.
Yeah.
We're just going to sort of debate in a regular way. Nobody's going to...
Yeah. We're going to say what we mean really clearly.
Yeah.
We're going to tell our true intentions.
Yeah.
We're
going to read the briefing documents from the reports we've commissioned, and then we're just going to do exactly what they recommend we should do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, it would be so straightforward if that were the case.
It would be lovely, yeah. And the news would just be in tonight's news, everything's trucking along smoothly. We know some people are still struggling, but we're all confident that the system's in place.
We'll do something about it.
Do something about it.
Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it? Because it's just that will never be possible.
That will never happen.
That will never happen.
Yeah.
No. Too many people with too many competing goals and interests. Which is what, makes the world spicy.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like Jermaine and Brett would say, there's too many dicks on this dance floor.
Not enough vulvas.
And not enough just chilling out sometime.
And not enough just chilling out sometime, yeah. Hey, so I think we should get into our headlines. The quick fire news is back.
News.
Quickfire news. From the last 2 weeks, the campaign season is officially kicking off, with ACT, National and Labour all holding party conferences to discuss strategy and breadcrumb some policy. What to expect? Jibes for the other parties, self-congratulations for themselves, perks and concessions for business and billionaires, and pretty much fuck all for everyone else.
ACT are steaming ahead in party donations. They have collected $1.5 million so far this year. Who needs to buy a big Wednesday ticket when Daddy's paying?
Man, they got it right. Polling has shown that the Opportunities Party is sneaking up on the 5% threshold to get into the House. There may be a new member at the party.
Maybe a new dick on the dance floor. National have been wrestling with the laws of cause and effect as they find out that their targets to reduce people in emergency housing, surprise, surprise, cause people to be removed from emergency housing.
How did that
happen?
Meanwhile, ACT learns you get what you pay for, as an inquiry into the school lunches program reveals it's all just shit on a plate for kids.
And football is happening.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. New Zealand was there.
Well, we're not anymore.
No.
But we were there.
Yeah.
So congrats to that.
Congrats to that,
Congrats to that, New
It's
Zealand.
not about the winning, it's about the taking part.
Yeah. It's about the friends you make along the way.
100%. Yeah. Do you know what? My cousin, who is a doctor, plays in the Doctors Football World Cup every single year. Yeah.
Do they deliberately try and injure the other team and they really strategic about it?
From what I hear, it's quite aggressive.
Damn.
Those doctors get out there and they're like, do no harm.
Doesn't apply to other doctors.
Doesn't apply to other doctors. Only applies to patients.
Only applies to patients. These are the only guys we can really fuck up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we don't have to feel bad about it because they can just go and fix themselves
They just
later.
go fix themselves.
Yeah.
We've all seen a Jason Bourne. Just stitch your leg back on.
Yeah. For any budding documentary makers out there, I really think that a documentary on the Doctors World Cup would be an excellent piece of content. It sounds hilarious.
And that was the Quickfire News. So the main kind of thing to chat about this week is all of the party conferences.
Yeah.
We're really in
swing.
election year now.
Yeah, we're really there. Stuff is happening. We've had ACT Party Conference, National Party Conference, and also the Labour Party Conference, which they call a Congress, which I don't actually know why, but they call it a Congress. Do you know why?
Maybe just to sound more like fun. I don't know. You're like, what would we call this in Star Wars? What would we call this in a model United Nations?
Maybe it's to sound less like corporate.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. Well, somebody should look into that.
Yeah.
We didn't.
We didn't.
We didn't.
Congress does sound more like parliamentary, and conference does sound more businessy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but there's probably a definition.
Yeah, there probably is,
Yeah.
and a real, and
Merriam-Webster
real
help us.
Do you know what I found out, which really surprised me, is that the kind of regulation period for election advertising is from August until the election, and so it means that if you're seeing loads of politics ads at the moment, there's no regulation outside of that period. So if you're getting absolutely hammered with election ads, it's probably because this is this is the free for all. This is a free for all period. And then from August, there's a limit on how much you can spend.
Why isn't it always?
I know.
Why does that? How does that magically equalize the playing field?
I know, because officially the election campaign doesn't start until Parliament has, has come to a close this year. But obviously, kind of as soon as Winston Peters starts manoeuvring, it's election year.
It's election year.
Yeah.
Damn. Yes, I saw a very disturbing billboard the other day. And now I've seen more of them. I don't know whether I just hadn't noticed them before or whether they've just gone up this week. But it's on the left-hand side, it's red.
Yeah.
And on the right-hand side, it's blue.
Yeah.
And it's a National Party billboard. And on the left, it says, like, live life full of tax. And on the right-hand side, it says, live life to the max. And they've got the actual, like, National Party logo because it's for the National Party. But on the left-hand side, they've just written Labour in, like, a font that looks similar to their font. It looks like if you upload a PDF to Canva and it tries to convert everything into, like, a similar font.
I love the idea that, like, McDonald's would just have an advert with, like, a really janky Wendy's logo on it. That's like, Wendy's burgers suck. Come to McDonald's.
That's literally it. And McDonald's will not be allowed because the advertising standards
for burgers
is
higher than the advertising standards for politics.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. Well, I mean, like, if McDonald's, like, if Subway came out, like, they had this whole scandal, right, where they were, like, they found out that the tuna in Subway wasn't actually a high enough percentage of, like, real tuna fish that they weren't allowed to call it tuna. It was mostly just, like, filler.
Tuna filler.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll have a tuna filler sub,
I'll
please.
have a tuna filler sub, please. Yeah. And, like, they're not allowed to say this is tuna when it's not tuna.
Yeah.
But the government is allowed to say, like, we're improving lives for New Zealanders when they're objectively not.
No, and also when they're and also because there was that one that came out recently with the Green Party where they said, where National said that the Green Party was going to tax everybody who was earning over 160k, like 45% of their, like, entire wage. And that was, like, the insinuation, but they'd obviously worded it in a clever way where it wasn't quite smart, but it was obviously the insinuation. And it's like, you're just lying about how a progressive tax scheme works.
Yeah. And you're allowed to.
And you can get away with it. It's crazy. I know.
Well, speaking of tax schemes,
I know. So there's been let's start with the Labour one, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Mainly because it was kind of the most beige. It was kind of the most beige. Yeah, because I went and looked at basically the leaders' speeches for each of the conferences, which were all on their websites, just to get, like, the general vibe and tone. Because obviously they've been releasing some policy as well, but then the speech, like, gives, you know, sort of the general direction that they're talking about heading in. And Labour has obviously gotten a bit of criticism in the press, like, during this election year, that they're kind of just resting on the laurels of, like, the economy isn't going that well. If it doesn't go that well, probably National will be voted out. So, like, don't make any fast movements and just, like, bank on it not going well for them, and then don't really release that much policy or, like, alternatives. Just be, like, a quiet guy who sweeps in, essentially. And I will say that from Chris Hipkins' speech, he didn't really disprove that.
Hey, what's he gonna do? He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. Yeah. Like, they were obviously very critical of, like, it came out very openly against neoliberal trickle-down economics, said it's a hoax, was anti all the government cuts that have been going through. But they're obviously offering their little policies.
They've got a few little treats. Public transport fare cap.
Yeah.
They've got the free doctor's visits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they don't, like, they've got their capital gains tax, but it's pretty much a capital gains tax, which is like capital gains tax except for farms, businesses, KiwiSaver, inheritance. So it's kind of just like entering the tax conversation, but sort of tinkering around the edges, offering some, like, paid for policies, and then not really having that much content which would talk about, like, getting the economy going, getting more jobs going. And kind of because of that, they sort of fall into basically what National is saying about them, which is, like, they're just going to pay for stuff and they've got no plan for, like, where that money is coming from. And if you're not going to boost the economy and you're not going to do, like, a serious tax rehaul, then
what
Chris
are you gonna
Higgins
do?
is a cute little guy, but I've got to say, you know, it kind of sticks. So I'm really hoping that there's something imaginative comes from the Labour. Like, you know, like, let's get a bit of creativity in there, you know?
I feel like it must be so hard just trying to play the middle. And I feel like that's where they keep ending up stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
It must be, I don't know how you predict, like, how is the middle feeling? And what are we going to say that's going to be too far? And what are we going to do that's going to be not far enough? I mean, I feel like in America, I feel like the Democrats won the election by trying too hard to play. They lost the election. So sorry. Imagine if they'd won. My God. I feel like they lost that election by trying too hard to play the middle. So that they just completely lost all of the left.
Yeah. Oh,
like, if they'd come out anti-Israel, they probably would have won.
Yeah, well, and also, like, we've had this with the Labour Party in the UK recently, where Keir Starmer, like, not only played the middle, but really tried to court the, like, far right with some, like, anti-immigration stuff, which was always just like, look, you can't be more anti-immigration than Nigel Farage. That's just... Like, don't even try. No one's going to believe you, Keir.
Stop trying to steal his thing.
I know. And also because in the UK, people were voting for change after like years of Tory, just like austerity. Coming in and sort of doing austerity light. Yeah. Like, you haven't really delivered the change that you were promising. Yeah. So that's certainly what undid the Labour Party in the UK. Or at least undid Keir Starmer in the UK. We'll see what happens with Andy Burnham, the new guy. Or if he gets it, you know, it's under review. Yeah, he's advertising. He's auditioning. He's auditioning.
Yeah, why don't they have to do an audition? Yeah, maybe we'd get some, like, you know, people that are better speakers if they had to audition.
Yeah, although we might get some Trumps if people were auditioning.
But
you know,
he's not a. I mean, he's.
If it was, I think it depends.
Speaker, I mean, sure, he can get the crowd on side.
Oh, he's not a good speaker by normal rhetoric and grammatical standards, but in terms of like political weaving, he has a knack. He has a knack, and that sort of what progressives and people who don't like Trump point to as like signs of his idiocy. I'm afraid I think is like part of his political magnetism for the people who do like him. And it's how he's able to bring together people who don't necessarily have aligned interests because he's never been completely clear about what he's saying.
It's a genius.
He's like, little guy, help you, rich, tax cut. Hey.
You're right, yeah. It's a little bit like it's a little bit just like a chat GPT.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's just throwing things out there. Yeah. It's like chat GPT meets open mic night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. He's got big open mic night energy.
Oh, he does. And he talks about it when he's on the road as well. He's like, this one doesn't go down so well. I won't do it anymore. But I like it, but you don't like it, so I won't do it anymore. Hey.
Oh my God, he's workshopping jokes. But his jokes is foreign policy.
Exactly, 100%. So man. Also, the other thing I have with the Labour, like doctors and I mean, you know, I think there's been lots of evidence which shows that like capping transport fares and even like having free transport fares is a good idea because actually you get lots of efficiency from people not paying and like the like percentage of the cost of transport that comes from tickets is actually quite low anyway. But with the doctor's stuff, I'm kind of like, definitely we should make medicine more affordable for more people and help people to go to the doctor. But there are also some people who don't need free doctor's trips. And I don't know that it is a good use of government finances to be paying for like somebody who earns loads of money and can pay for their own doctor's trips to be going to doctor's trips. Because that means that person is then taking that money they would spend on doctor's trips, saving it and
buying a super yacht
and investing it and stuff like that. Exactly. And then that doesn't help with inequality. So
buying more crap on Temu. Nobody loves Temu like rich guys.
Who is it? Is it Graham Hart? I love the idea that Graham Hart's just like whacking Timo delivery.
Yeah. I mean, it says live life like a billionaire. If you're already a millionaire, you want to be living like a billionaire.
Oh, no. And if you're a billionaire, you could be a trillionaire.
You could be a trillionaire. Like, I bet Elon Musk is always on Temu. You go to his house, all of his mugs break. Temu mugs.
Yeah. So that was the Labour Congress.
That's the Labour Congress.
Yeah. So then the National Conference.
National Conference.
Yeah.
Man. Well, this one, I feel like the Labour, they do mention, like, they do have a more of an understanding about who lives in New Zealand, like supermarket workers and bus drivers.
Yeah,
I mean, Nationals, all business and farms.
Business and farm. I mean, it's obviously just like different coalitions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because like Labour is more like the Labour coalition of literal labourers, whereas the national conference was sort of directed towards like farmers, business owners, community leaders, and then also like families and caring communities and stuff like that. But mostly people who like aren't necessarily employed by other people, but sort of working for themselves and stuff like that. It's like a slightly different labour market.
Yeah. So they seem very big on. Well, they're very big on solar energy.
Yeah.
Which keeps surprising me.
Yeah, well, so this was like Christopher Luxon's bit about energy really stood out to me because the language he was using is almost like a direct ripoff of the language that Trump was using in his last campaign, where he kept on talking about like unleashing the energy in New Zealand, which like Trump's tagline from his previous campaign was literally unleash American energy.
Why unleash? Who's leashing it?
Well, this is the thing. So in America, it's that the Democrats are leashing it with all their sustainability programs and regulation and stuff.
No.
Yeah. So this is where the unleash comes from. And it's a very like, we've got lots of money and donations and we've hired some political marketing people and they've gone out and they've done group work where they found out that unleash is the word we're going to use.
Yes, it's so specific. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
The Labour Party wants to put a collar on the sun.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to unleash the power of the
exactly.
sun.
So this is where the difference lies, is that for Trump it was all about unleashing oil and gas and getting rid of sustainability programs, whereas Luxon has done like a New Zealand version of this, which is like, hey, we'll do sustainability stuff, we'll give you your solar panels at home, but also we should be stopping the bans on oil and gas.
Which I guess is his version of trying to play the middle from
Yes.
where he sits on the side of the middle.
And also I think like what they've done is they've gotten out there with a policy that you'd sort of normally expect from Labour and kind of beaten them to the punch a little bit. And so it's like, well, Labour's not going to be able to distinguish themselves from us by offering solar and sustainable stuff because we took it too.
We already did it. Only one guy can offer interest-free loans for solar panels.
Yeah, exactly.
They also love AI. I'm so
God.
sick of hearing these national guys talking about
Well,
AI.
not just national, but also David Seymour, Winston Peters,
with
they
the
all going on
AI.
about. And the most embarrassing thing is it's like, if we got you guys to sit down and actually explain to us what you think AI is, I put money on you having the wackiest, most inaccurate explanation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd be shocked to learn that it's just like you scrape all the information off the internet and then you feed it to a guy who does not compute things but just spits stuff out that look like stuff it's seen before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It can do maths worse than like a basic program that does maths because it doesn't calculate anything. It's just like, this is what maths looks like.
I had a thing recently where I was trying to get AI to, I was trying to see if it could format some documents for me.
Yeah.
And I would like go through the steps of asking it to format these documents for me. And then at the end, it would be like, yes, and we've done that and we've saved it in this folder for you. I would go through the folder. It was empty. I would go back to AI and I would say, okay, the files aren't there. And it would go, oh my gosh, you're completely correct. The files aren't there. We'll do it again and download them for you. The files are there now. Go to the file. The file is still empty. I'm like, stop gaslighting me.
And we should fire 10,000 government workers and replace them with this technology.
With this technology, I know. No, it's really cringe,
It's
actually.
so cringe. They sound like an old relative
Yeah.
at midwinter Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like to me, it's really like the Wizard of Oz with the like big green face, and the green face is AI. And it's like this is going to solve everything.
Yeah, because he was being quite insulting to New Zealand businesses, being like, "You're not doing enough AI."
Oh yeah, no, he was. He really came down on the New Zealand business for not doing AI. Also, like in his conference speech, pretty much the only plan that they have, I mean, obviously they talk about growing the economy, and their sort of main technique for that, besides the AI stuff, is to their main technique for that is to do more trade with growing economies in the Indo-Pacific, which is kind of like the New Zealand Free Trade Agreement that we discussed a few weeks ago. And also they want to give money to companies and lower their taxes.
It's worked so far. It's worked so far. Look at the employment numbers. Look at this personal well-being, surveys.
So the only real thing that was actually directed to like your sort of everyday New Zealander was basically just saying New Zealanders need to be better at saving.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the cost of living is New Zealanders need to be better at saving, which I think is pretty harsh to the average New Zealander.
It's insane. It's insane to be like the latest like Kids Can campaigns, which is a New Zealand charity that I feel like shouldn't have to exist, that gives like raincoats and food to kids.
Yeah.
And their thing is like 1 in 4 Kiwi kids is like not got a warm bed to sleep in and whatnot. And when you've got families that have a set amount of money coming in and they have to choose if I can pay my power bill, if I can pay for transport, if I can pay for food, or if I can pay for rent.
Yeah.
Then to be like, you know how this $500 doesn't cover all of that? Save more of it. You know how your teenage kids have to work after school every day?
Yeah.
Save more of it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's kind of weird to me that they're so intense about enrolling people. Like this, all babies automatically get enrolled in KiwiSaver.
Yeah, which I also find really hypocritical given they're like, oh, Labour just hands out money. And it's like, you literally want to hand out $1,500 to every single New Zealander. Like, come on.
Like their solution for the energy crisis wasn't like free public transport or anything. It was like, we'll just give some people some money.
Yeah. And then it always turns out the amount of people they've said they're going to give money to like never quite stacks up. Anyway, this is the other thing with like the national conference is it was just like very hallucinogenic because it was like, oh yeah, everything's great. We're doing really great. Like, and obviously they do acknowledge that things are going bad, but that's like because of the war and that's because of other things. It's not because of them. And so their message is very much like, we're in a time of economic difficulty. We need a party which is going to have sensible economic policies. Labour doesn't have sensible economic policies. And so we are the party that has sensible economics policies. And their main evidence of this is that they have returned the country maybe to surplus in a few years.
Yes, they keep going on about this surplus.
I know.
Which we're not in.
We're not in.
We're not in the surplus.
We're not in the surplus. They haven't achieved it yet. And it's all based on projections, which may not even happen.
Yes, were you saying that the mathematical models that show we will get to surplus, some people have been like, well, we don't know if this is gonna...
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, we're like forecasting that there'll be growth, but we don't actually know. And it obviously depends on like random things like the Iran war happening, etc. So it's all just like based on like a hopeful projection / a dream, I say.
Oh man. Damn.
Yeah.
So lots of good stuff happening at the National Party conference.
Oh yeah. They're just they're high on their own supply, basically.
They are. Yeah. I guess it's a very different vibe at the conference of the parties that are currently in the government versus the ones that are not in the government.
Yeah. I also just think like to go out and say you're doing a great job when like the stats all show that just like financial insecurity in New Zealand is so bad at the moment. So like there's been like a number of surveys recently which have showed that like overall over the last 3 years, like people's household savings have declined. it shows that like 25% of Kiwis couldn't survive for less than a month if their income suddenly stopped. 40% of Kiwis can't access $5,000 if like they have an emergency. There are like 65% of New Zealanders are worrying about money monthly, and 32% of Gen Z are worrying about finances daily. And then 40% of New Zealanders under 30 are sometimes skipping meals because they can't afford food.
That's the saddest one of all.
I know.
That's shit.
It is shit. And so then just to be like, oh no, we're doing a great job.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Yes. Oh, well, you know who I bet will have much more good stuff for the average New Zealander is the ACT Party conference. I bet that was really great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure he didn't, like, punch down at all. Like.
No. My favorite, I think one of my, I had two favorite quotes from the Seymour conference. Oh, well, from the ACT conference featuring David Seymour. My two favorite quotes were, one, no other party can say the next three things. One, we're not Labour.
I'd say most parties can say they're not Labour.
I think most parties can say they're not Labour. And then we've never worked with Labour and we're not Labour light. But I would say most parties can say they're not Labour.
It's because they're all different.
I know, honestly. And then my second favourite thing was he started by being like, I don't want to talk about the other parties, and then spent the whole speech talking about the other parties and how shit they are.
Yeah, it was like a roast.
It was a roast. It was a roast of the other parties, a roast of people on benefits and the most vulnerable in our society, and a roast of just like New Zealanders generally. Because basically it was like, oh yeah, the problem with New Zealand at the moment is just like people are lazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He thinks people are lazy.
Yeah.
He thinks people on benefits are lazy.
Yeah. He even thinks people working are lazy because sometimes they have to be on benefits as well as working.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a sign of being lazy rather than a sign that the economic system is broken, and even when people work, they can't pay for their lives.
Yeah. If you are working a full-time 40-hour week and you can't afford basic living expenses, you're lazy.
You're lazy.
Yeah. There's a clip of him that's been doing the rounds on Instagram this week, which is him at the conference, and he's complaining about this $25 billion of the budget that goes to benefits and how this is a terrible thing and these people have to get back to work. And he doesn't mention that 23 of the 25 billion is the superannuation.
I know. This is the thing that annoys me the most with welfare bashing.
Yeah.
Is like the vast majority of the welfare budget is spent on pensions, which like no politician is out there saying we need to cut pensions because that's a huge part of their voting base.
Yes.
And so what's crazy to me is that ACT will say this to like an older generation who are voting for them, who are on pensions, and they'll be like, yeah, we got to get that number down. And it's like, no, you are that number.
You are that number.
Like,
yes. And the superannuation is more money per week than the job seeker benefit and the disability benefit. And yet, like, everywhere you go, there's a super gold discount. You can get a discount at the supermarket, at the movies, at health clinics.
Yeah.
There's no disability. Well, I guess you can get if you're on a community services card.
Yeah. I mean, but the interesting thing about the the gold card and the benefits that like suppliers and chains and stuff is like that's a cost on the private. That's a cost on the private market. That's
it is. Yeah, David.
Yeah. They're taking money away from businesses. I thought you didn't like that.
You didn't like that, David.
I thought you didn't like that.
What's going on, David?
Yeah. Am I recognizing some double standards, David?
Double standards from David?
Do you know what was another wonderful double standard from David? In all of this like tax discussion, and obviously the right-wing parties saying the left-wing parties are just going to tax you loads, David was saying, look, the problem with a wealth tax or a capital gains tax is, sure, you know, it may only target like 0.4% of people, but that's a minority. And as a democracy, we should not target a minority.
We cannot pick on minorities,
No.
guys. No, they need protecting.
They need protecting the poor little billionaires.
Oh my God.
I know.
It's so much worse hearing him like learning what minority he actually cares about
100%.
than if he didn't care about any minorities at all.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
like, in some ways, like, you know, at least he's upfront about it. It's like, yeah, do you know what? They are the people paying your bills and taking you out for dinner. So they're the people that you care about. Like, and it was also with this, like, the stuff that's come out about the emergency housing for National.
Yes. When Christopher Luxon did not know that there were no night shelters for people.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
I will confess, I also actually didn't know that.
Oh, that there was nowhere for them to go.
No, I didn't realise that there wasn't a night shelter in Auckland.
Yeah.
I'm not the Prime Minister, but...
Yeah. And you know what? I think that you have a different standard for how much you're expected to know about these things because you're not the Prime Minister and we don't pay you over $300,000 a year to run the country. So you're off the hook.
Oh, thanks. But I know now. I know now. Yeah. As does Christopher Luxon know now.
As does he know now?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because when that whole Move On Orders anti-homelessness bill was coming through, everyone was being like, where do you expect them to go?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? So to find out that he did think there was somewhere for them to go, he just had not researched it even a little bit, is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to the research that's behind the policies, doesn't it?
Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we'll just move them on to that other place.
Yeah.
No need to look it up.
Yeah.
Not even a Google search.
Didn't even a Google. Didn't even ask Siri.
Didn't even ask AI, his
Didn't
friend.
even ask his friend AI. Yeah, surely ChatGPT could have at least told him that.
I know.
Yeah.
I,
Or maybe it was one of those, what do they call it when AI makes up something that isn't real? It's like a ghost.
Oh, the hallucin.
Yes, maybe it was an AI hallucination.
Yeah, maybe it was like, oh yeah, they can go to the 5-star homeless resort. But yeah, no, the thing that comparing ACT to National, so when National got criticised for their targets basically achieving what they wanted them to achieve, they were like, oh God, no, that was just the implementation by the civil service. Like, sure, we had these targets, but in terms of the KPIs that were sort of driving the officials who were then like kicking people out of emergency house, that's an operational thing. That's not to do with our target that we set. Whereas ACT and David Seymour, when it came out that trying to buy school dinners for $3, like obviously was just buying slop, he was like, yeah, but we save loads of money. Yes. Like he's just, this is who I am.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, the kids are hungry.
Yeah.
The kids don't want to eat their food because it's literal garbage.
Yeah.
We save money.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
The kids are getting almost none of the nutrition that they're meant to get at lunch. Hey, someone's got to make the tough decisions.
Someone's got to make the tough decision. I mean, this is the party that their former, second person said, Brooke Van Velden said, we place too high of a value on human life during the COVID
100%.
pandemic. So they're literally like, oh, what's that? What's that? People could die if we kicked them off the disability benefit.
That's just the tough decisions.
That's just the tough decisions.
And what's so annoying about that is it's like they obviously have this narrative about making the tough decisions, and sometimes that means that you have to massively disadvantage really vulnerable people. But then when it comes to making the tough decisions about being able to pay for services and taxing really rich people a little bit more, and leaving them in a situation where they can still go out for dinner, they can still buy yachts, they can still 100% provide for their life. It's like, oh, no.
No.
Oh, no, we couldn't possibly do that to them. Oh, no. We couldn't possibly make that compromise.
We only go for the minorities.
Exactly.
Where attacking them will cause a very, very small amount of money to come back into the budget.
Yeah.
But it will cause an incredibly large amount of harm to the minorities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas if we tax people for probably not like everything, but a significant amount of money and put them in a tiny bit of discomfort, not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
Because the thing is some people just need a lot of comfort in their life.
Yeah, because they're special snowflakes.
And who are we to judge them?
Who are we to judge the snowflakes of our community? Billionaires and multiple millionaires.
I know, exactly. So yeah, that was the ACT conference. Shit on everyone and stand up for the big guy.
Stand up for the big guy. Hey, Seymour, good on ya. Keeping true to form.
Keeping true to form.
No swapping with you.
No.
This is who I am.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Do we want to very quickly talk about the opportunity party?
I think we've got to.
I think we've got to,
I think they're out there catching everyone's attention.
They're almost up there. They're almost at 5%.
Yeah. Also, hey, I'll say they've caught my eye.
My God, Izzy.
I know. I feel like, you know, the meme of the guy who's walking along with his girlfriend and then another woman's walking past and he's like side-eyeing over his shoulder.
My God.
I'm the guy and the woman's the opportunity party. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're saying that they'll partner with anybody and that they'll be in the middle, but they do have... Well, Christopher Luxon and Nicola Willis have said they look like a Labour Greens bunch.
And I would say they're probably correct.
Yeah. So they've got universal basic income, environmental policies.
Yeah. No, they really are. They're offering a lot of kind of like green policies, but under this presentation of like centrism and, you know, the suggestion that they will align with anyone. And I will say that strategically, it's interesting. It's can you pick up some people who might vote for some of the green policies, but don't necessarily want to be voting for green because of the kind of social values image stuff?
Yeah, because they are kind of coming at these things from like a practicality. They're not being super sentimental about.
No, it's not like a question of ethics and morality. It's all more of a sort of cost analysis, efficiency, which is probably also why Winston Peters called them a party of consultants and bureaucrats.
Sounds like everybody's correct about them, maybe.
I think they are correct about them. Yeah. Do you know what? I will say, I don't necessarily agree with the policies, but they read people and they read them correctly.
Yes. Well, I mean, and it is true that the new leader of the Opportunity Party got the job by responding to like a job advertisement. Yeah. It wasn't like an election, it was like a job listing.
Yeah, which is really interesting because it's obviously elections, democratic, but party politics can really impact, one of the things that really holds against more diversity in MPs is actually just the party politics of the election process.
Like the internal party elections.
Exactly. Yeah. So interesting to just do it through a job application. You would hope that means that you get somebody who's effective and has the right skill set rather than being good at playing the politics of the party, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. I suppose what they're offering, which is different to Green and Labour, not Labour so much, but different to Green, is they do have a bit more of a focus on the sort of invigorating business and stuff like that. And their proposal for it is that they want to invest lots in R&D, research and development, which is meant to be a good way to bolster new enterprises and stuff like that.
And AI regulations.
Oh, yes.
We love to hear the word regulations after the word AI.
Yeah. Which is it is exciting to see somebody with more of a policy of investing in research and development, because whereas national business growth ideas are we'll just give them money, and then often what they do with that money is they just give it to their shareholders or keep it for themselves.
Yeah.
This is no, we're going to invest in you actually coming up with new ideas which will employ people, which will hopefully lead to new business ideas. Exactly. Yeah. So and also much more, whereas a lot of the national economic growth policy is sort of more focused on our kind of rural industries, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah. If you want to build a middle class, and especially for people in cities who can't just go and move and work in the rural industries, you need to be finding ways of bolstering kind of white collar work essentially. And investing in R&D is one way to do that. And also would probably go some way to solving. We have like a big structural unemployment issue in New Zealand where we have like a lot of people who are highly qualified, but we don't necessarily have the jobs for them. And so just investing a lot more money in kind of rural jobs which don't necessarily cater to those qualifications.
It's not going to stop the brain drain.
It's not going to stop the brain drain.
Yeah.
So you know, the opportunity party.
They're sneaking up there.
They're sneaking up there.
They're sneaking up there.
Yeah. The question is like, can they actually convince anybody on the right to vote?
Yeah,
for them?
because they don't have a great track record as a group.
No. And
Yeah.
I was looking at this to be like, because obviously if the Opportunity Party is just like taking votes from Green and Labour, they're not going to do that much for, and if you're thinking in political strategy, which isn't the only way to think about voting, but they're not going to do that much for like helping the left coalition win an election if it's just like a redivision of the votes essentially.
They got to come out with one really racist policy so that they can pull the like
Rebecca, are you giving the party a pass? But the thing is I don't think that will be convincing either. It's just, I went and looked at, I wanted to find some information about like who was kind of going for them. And the only information I could find was some quite like sort of superficial analysis done by, I mean, you know, like good analysis, but not like peer reviewed or anything like that, done of the New Zealand election survey by someone on LinkedIn who's Paul K. Gunson, who's a strategy consultant on LinkedIn. Thank you for looking into this because it was the only stuff that I could find. And he was saying that the people who tend to vote for the Opportunity Party, historically, they've kind of drawn from a National and Green voter base, which is really interesting.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and would suggest that the strategy could work. But apparently over time, that sort of division has shifted more to a like Labour Green and more like clearly left orientation. So whether this like playing the middle tactic can work is... But it's also an interesting time to try it because Winston Peters is getting old. Someone's got to take the kingmaker position.
That's what they really need to do. Their new leader needs to get out there and become more of an alcoholic and just start going a bit crazy, you know?
Yeah.
That's how you get the NZ first, is with the charisma.
Yeah, exactly, with the charisma. So,
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see what happens, yeah.
Oh, so that's all the conferences that they've had so far.
I don't know that the Opportunity Party has had a conference.
Oh, no, they haven't had their conference.
Yeah.
No.
So we're still waiting for, I don't know if they'll do one, but we're still waiting for...
Greens, Te Pāti Māori.
Yeah. And New Zealand First.
And New Zealand First.
Yeah. So we'll have a good split to talk about once they've all done theirs.
Yeah, that's also a good spectrum
That
coverage.
is a good spectrum coverage, yeah.
Well, shall we end with a bit of good news?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on the topic of solar panels, National are continuing their love of solar panels, and they've approved to install solar in 3,000 schools around the country.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so they're over the next like 3 or 4 years, I think they're rolling out this solar panel install.
That's very cool.
Over the summer holidays. So
Learning powered by the sun.
Learning powered by the sun instead of a big old furnace. A lot of schools still had a big old furnace in there.
Well, where do you throw the children when they're naughty?
Now you just make them scrub the solar panels with a toilet brush.
Yeah, exactly. On the roof without a harness.
Yeah. That's a $30,000 work safe fine right there.
Yeah.
So that's a punishment for the school budget as
well. Some other good news, which kind of came out of some sad news, is there's been this big earthquake in Venezuela. But some good news that has come from it is that a 43-year-old man has been saved after spending 8 days under the rubble of a mall.
8 days.
And so they spent a number of days digging him out, and apparently the sort of people digging him out would be like talking to him through this process. And apparently he could like recognize them by their voices. He'd be like, "Oh, you're back again." And then apparently once they got him out, like loads of people came to see, because obviously sort of in this very dark period, it's like nice to see somebody rescued. And apparently the crowds who came out to see him were all like trying to be really quiet so that they wouldn't overwhelm him. I mean, very sweet.
That's really sweet.
I know.
Sweet rescue.
A sweet rescue in a very sad situation. It's like bittersweet, but yeah.
Hey, it's always good to know someone's been rescued.
Yeah.
Well, something that's been not rescued in the same way, but is that the Conservation Amendment Bill, they have pulled back on it slightly. The government were like, we're going to offer up all the conservation land for sale, which obviously has gone completely viral online. Everyone's like, this is the worst thing. What are you talking about? Everyone's been making submissions, and they have pulled back on that. Probably some land will still be up for sale, but it's not as bad as it was originally.
It's interesting the things they do and don't listen to from the public, isn't it?
No, right?
Like, it's very hard to tell when they're going to take it on board or when they're just going to completely ignore it.
Yeah. Hey, it's good that they still sometimes do. Listen.
Yeah. Some other good news is that it's not completely finalised yet, but going through Parliament is a bill which will return some customary land to Māori and Nelson and Tasman. This is based on something that happened in the 1830s where the
1830s.
I know, so long. Where the Crown promised Māori at the top of the North Island that if they sold 151,100 hectares of land to the New Zealand company, they would be able to keep 1/10 of it. And instead they got like way less than that and were basically cheated. So this first went into the courts in 2010. And then in 2017, the Supreme Court found that the government had a duty to honour the land deal. And then last year, under actually Judith Collins, who was then the Attorney General and also the Conservation Minister, they announced that an agreement had been reached and would return 3,068 hectares of land and also $420 million in compensation for the land that couldn't be returned.
Heck yeah. Land back.
Land back. So that's going through Parliament at the moment, and actually is asking for public submissions at the moment as well. So if you want to help it along, you can do a public
make a
submission,
you guys.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And the last good news story that we had is so cute.
Oh yeah,
the story about the beavers in the UK.
Yeah, so this is actually a story from the UK. In West London, in a place called Ealing, there is a conservation program which reintroduced some beavers to some wetlands, and it's helped stop the local railway from flooding.
Yes, you were saying the railway used to flood like quite often.
Yeah,
and they've introduced quite a small number of beavers.
Like 8 beavers.
And then they've fixed up the
problem. Yeah, exactly.
It's not flooding
They've
anymore.
done their dams. I don't know, that's what beavers do, isn't
Yes. Yay. The ecosystem.
Yay. You know, sometimes when humans can't find a way, just ask the animals.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when they reintroduced wolves to a bunch of American national parks.
Yes.
And it got all the ecosystem back in check.
balance. Yeah. Oh, man, nature.
Nature's got it figured out, man.
This is why you can't just sell it all.
That's why you can't sell it all, yeah. It's like Elton John used to say, it's the circle of life.
When you said Elton John, I was like, what quote are you going to be bringing up? Like,
It's like Elton John used to say, I'm a rocket man.
Rocket Man. It's like Elton John used to say, Crocodile Rock.
It's like Elton John used to say, the bitch is back.
It's like Elton John used to say, can you feel the love tonight?
Yeah. I feel like we could assign, maybe next time we can assign Elton John lyrics to different New Zealand political parties.
I think that would be glorious.
Yeah.
Hey,
that was our podcast for today.
that was our podcast for today.
Thank you for joining us in the House of Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been lovely to have you. We'll be back again in a couple of weeks, back to our fortnightly schedule. And we... and if you're enjoying it, like and subscribe so you know when we're out. And also that lets us know whether people are enjoying what they're hearing.
Yes.
If you
Leave
want
us
to
some
comment on
comments.
anything, do comment.
Yeah.
And I think that's it from us.
I think that's it from us. Well, there's one thing we always have to say before we can finish.
There is.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Let the bass kick.